Okay, so this is SCP stuff. D class, the basic order of the D class. If you want to know what the D class are in the SCP universe, you first have to know the structure of the SCP Foundation. We're gonna hope you know the SCP Foundation at the basic level and watch the first video in our channel. But D class is essentially the lowest bar in the Foundation's level. There are two ways to organize Foundation personnel. First, by their rank of access information and their importance. D class are one of the lowest on the spectrum because they're essentially the workers of the Foundation who are thrown into. Workers because I don't want to say the other word, S word, for YouTube's sake. Yeah. Thrown to SCP-682, the giant beast that is going to rip them apart? Why not? For fun. Usually, they're diff class in rows. Diff class inmates picked up by the Foundation and said, "Here, we'll give you a freebie from your death sentence, but only if you work for us." Of course, they don't realize that they're essentially not going to get out of it. They do say the lie of, "You'll be free in the world once you finish your employment in our organization for only a month." But through who knows what way, a lot of them are desperate because it's either to die or it's to work for the Foundation. And well, how do I say this? The Foundation doesn't let them escape. Sometimes they just kill them at the end of the month. Sometimes they just erase their memory through amnestics. Erase their memory, wipe back again at the same month. There may be a little bit of drowsiness. Like, it's just time. Before they go back to the same month. And how deadly can be. Usually, they don't even have to do all those different methods. Either way. Because D-Class can't escape, and they'll usually die before the month ends either way. They're a useful tool for the Foundation, because as long as whatever they have to explore doesn't take an insane amount of skill, they can just throw D-Class in the equation and fix a lot of stuff. So much stuff that D-Class are critical to the Foundation operations. Without that, they wouldn't have human test experiments at such a large scale. Without D-Class, the Foundation cannot exist. Anyway, because D-Class fills so many holes and plugs in the organization that essentially they cannot operate without. And if you want to know, D-Class is called Disposable Class. This is why the D is on it. Though, if you see the title, you already know. D for Disposable Class. And that's the position on how D-Class are formed. Regularly. But there's still a whole bunch of other ways D-Class can form because there's several canons. Sometimes this is entirely just illusion. D-Class are either clones or just regular civilians and Foundation agents. Most of them either way. And they can just be thrown into the fire because the Foundation gets their personnel to think that they're death row inmates, that they do not have to worry about it. It's a very Foundation route to possibly do. And sometimes it's true. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes. D-Class have to save the Foundation against anomalies before. Like, for example, one D-Class that went into a barnyard cabin that had an anomaly where basically demons takes out anyone's heart and hunts humans. He was able to destroy the main dimension where the demons were and collapse it, essentially banishing the trouble menace of the demons. There's also other stories with D-Class too, where thanks to the Foundation's fuck ups. They'll cause a inevitable danger or death to the Foundation. For example, D-Class Ghost. An anomaly where D-Class were a few D-Class were messing with the Foundation as Ghost. At the end of the story, it was revealed that every single Foundation D-Class has basically turned into a ghost thanks to their unresolved trauma and violent death, unable to pass on. They're only sleeping, and only one major event is needed to massively trigger a mass awakening of thousands, if not millions, of D-Class through the Foundation's history. And that's essentially a nuclear bomb that they just have to sit on easily. But the Foundation will deal with that later. There's also another one where the Foundation is gracious known, using a machine to squeeze the happiness, joy, and everything that made a death row inmate at the bare minimum human. Would have probably turned them not, as they extract every good essence out of their soul, making what would be even the most violent criminals human out of them. So they're infinitely regenerating demons because they get immortal bodies, and they only just realize after thousands of burning bodies through the flames. After they heard a lot of screaming, what no one realized until the end is that they weren't screaming, they were laughing. And they will always be laughing because they know that the Foundation can't burn them forever because they regenerate endlessly. And the ash will block the engines. And those engines will eventually run out of space to fill everything. That is effectively going to run out of space. And once they get out, it's a party forever. It's a party of human torment forever. But that's just a little bit of the Foundation's in this. Ah, burning facilities, ghost ghost catastrophes, and D-Class sometimes being heroes or victims in any situation. That's just the nature of D-Class and the Foundation.